I bought a new toy, guys. The cheapest forklift on Marketplace. So as I said, I found this thing on Marketplace the other day. I've been kind of keeping my eyes open for a forklift for a while because it's handy to have around here at the garage. Nothing I really had to have, but I paid $200 for it, and it's probably worth more than that in scrap, so I couldn't really go wrong. It was dark when I showed up, didn't really look at it, just gave him the money and tried to load it on the truck. That took quite a while. I ended up having to disconnect the truck from the trailer, chock the wheels on the trailer, and pull the brake disconnect so that the wheels would lock up, and then pulled the forklift up onto the trailer with my own truck. So it was a little sketchy, but we got it done. But I pulled it back. It was snowing pretty good the other night, and didn't look at it at all when I got it home. So you're seeing it with me pretty much for the first time. I didn't ask the guy any questions really. He told me that he drove it home to his place from where he bought it. It ran great, and then he switched propane tanks and it wouldn't run. So I know what he did because the picture on the Marketplace showed it. He had a grill propane tank hooked up to it. And for those of you that know, that doesn't work with a forklift. There's like a tube that goes through the tank on a forklift tank, and it gets the liquid propane for the forklift to run. So hoping that I can just put the right propane tank on this thing and it's gonna fire right up. So it's an Alice Chalmers, however you pronounce it. Yeah, there's no B, so Alice Chalmers model F50-24 PS. I'm guessing the PS means power shift, but I don't know that. It's got your forward, neutral, reverse up here. Got your raise and tilt, and all the other basics of a forklift. The seat gonna stay? There we go. I'm not sure what model motor it is yet. Engine. I always get yelled at when I call engines motors. I know the difference, I just don't care. Looks like it's got 4 new plugs in it. About 3 miles of plug wire. Uh-oh. Got some water in our oil there. That doesn't look good. But for $200, we could not go wrong. And if it needs a head gasket, that'd be easy enough to do. I have the missing side cover for that side. It's on my pickup. Let's take this side off. Oh, nice. Has the firing order right there, 1342. There's no cover on the intake. That's great. This is what's left of the intake. So it doesn't look like we have all of the air cleaner assembly. He told me it would crank right over. He gave me a battery with it. I got it in there charging. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get into this thing, because I got to get it off the trailer. And it's so greasy that I want to steam clean it off here before I even try to start working on it. As well as my truck and trailer. You can see it got a bit salty. Gotta love living in the Rust Belt. So I couldn't get my hand down in here to turn this radiator cap, so I had to go get a pair of pliers. Let's see what's behind door number 1. Oh man, that thing's on there. Oh, look at that. Got antifreeze clearing up to the top. Well, that's good. And it doesn't look like there's oil in it, so maybe the head gasket isn't bad. We'll have to see. Looks like the overflow is busted off. That's good. So besides being really cheap, the other thing that drew me to this thing was I like Alice Chalmers. Never owned anything Alice Chalmers, but I got no reason to dislike them. They're make some pretty awesome old tractors. B is it's a 2-stage mast. The shadow's killing you guys. It's a 2-stage mast, but it's low. It'll fit inside the garage here. I'll probably have to take the roll cage off to fit it inside the garage, but I'm 6'2", and the mast comes up to maybe my chin, so that'll be nice. All right, like I said, I didn't really give this thing 2 looks. I just handed the man the money. So I'm just walking around now finding little things wrong with it. So this here that's bent probably got ejected when we were yanking on it up onto the truck the other day. Or, no, there's no rust on it. Or there is rust on it, so maybe not. This here is missing the pin. This is supposed to retain the counterweight. That's what this gap is here, because the counterweight has slid that way, probably from us pulling it onto the trailer. So we'll have to shove the counterweight back that way, stick a bolt through this thing and tighten that down, and it'll draw the counterweight on there nice and tight again. The ignition switch, not much left of it. It's just some wires hanging there, so we'll have to fix that. It appears to click into the positions on the transmission pretty well. I've seen forklifts a lot newer than this that have a lot sloppier shifts than that. Up here on the mast, these bars, there's a bar here and a bar here. They're supposed to be up here, and they're supposed to go through the masts. And what it looks like those do to me is keep the head for the cylinder aligned, so when it starts to elevate, the head doesn't move all over the place. So that's definitely pretty high on the priority list. We're gonna have to fix that. Yeah, those keep the cylinder oriented with the boom. Another thing I noticed, the hydraulic line that comes up here and feeds the cylinder is this teeny little like 1/4 inch thing, and it's got 2 bushings where it goes into the cylinder. So I'm betting that originally was supposed to be like a 1/2 inch hose that I shouldn't be able to spin with my fingers. So I think we'll be putting a new hydraulic hose on there. That's all assuming that the motor runs and the transmission functions. Speaking of transmission, let's take a peek under her dress here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, nice and greasy down here. Oh bud, you want some cigarettes? I don't know what that is. Let's pull this dipstick. Oh, it's got fluid. Looks pretty good too. I don't know if it's supposed to be kind of that milky or not, but we'll say that's a win. This over here, I don't know what that is. Oh, I bet you that. Yeah. Bet you this goes inside of here. Yeah. And there's some bolt missing there, so we'll have to fix that. What is that? Oh. This looks like the hydraulic brake reservoir. Yep, that's what that is. And the reservoir appears to be broken and missing. So, not gonna have any brakes to get it off the trailer. That'll be fun. Buckle up. This piece is missing from the other side, but it creates a nice little tray to put a chain or some other stuff, so that's handy. I'm not going to complain too much about that. I'm guessing just by looking at this thing and looking at the serial number, it's around a 1950. I know it's got 5,000 and it's rated for 5,000 pounds, but it's got the model, or it's got the number 50 at the beginning of the serial number. So, I don't know. I could be dead wrong. I couldn't really find a whole lot about these online. Wiping off the schmoo here around the steering wheel, I see it says power shift on it. So I'm gonna definitely say that's what the PS suffix means in the serial number, or in the model number. I guess so. Before we even waste any more time on this thing, let's throw the battery on it and see if it cranks. The guy said it would. Alright. She's in neutral. Can we jump this solenoid? Alright, she turns over. That's a good sign. Doesn't seem like she's got a lot of oomph to her. Give it a shot of ether and just see if it pops off. We'll know we're getting spark. Doesn't seem to want to pop, so I'm betting that key switch up there that's all disassembled is probably disconnected in such a way that we're not getting voltage to the coil. No. But it's proof of concept, the motor's not locked up, so let's go ahead and get this thing degreased so we can work on it. This is a hot water pressure washer, more commonly referred to, at least in my parts, as a steam jenny. So it heats up the water really hot and it'll basically just melt the grease right off of this thing. So let's get it fired up. Okay, I spent a few minutes with a test light here after I got it washed and probing the wires up around there in the ignition area where the ignition is missing, and I came up with a generic Caterpillar ignition switch I had laying around, so I'm going to hook it up and see if we can't get this thing to run. Okay, I just hooked up that ignition switch, and now when I probe my coil here, bingo, we got power to the coil, so I think she's ready to start. I don't have one of these forklift tanks yet, so I went ahead and borrowed my dad's. And just to see if it'll get running, and if it gets running, we'll buy one. Unfortunately, his tank doesn't fit in here right. Janky. Have to do a little ratchet strap action on that. Okay, the tank's all hooked up. We got power to our coil. Should have propane going to the intake. Let's give it a shot here. It's in neutral. I chalked the wheels. propane. We'll give it a break. I see this connection starting to smoke here. I know everybody's going to yell at me too about not changing the oil first, but it's just a little milky. I'm not going to waste my money and time changing oil on something I don't know if it's going to run or not. As soon as I get it running and get it off the trailer, we'll change it if it, if it runs. So I just probed one of the plug wires while I was cranking it, and we should be lighting up the test light, and we're not. So we're still not getting spark up to our plugs. Could be points need filed, so let's pop the distributor cover off and take a look. Well, the rotor has definitely got some schmoo on it. The cap doesn't look too bad though. Got 85 miles of wires going on here. We need to shorten those up. Yeah, that we'll clean that up good. This little dust cover for the points is broken. Should probably get a new one of those if we can. I can see a teeny little bit of spark at the points, but not a lot, so let's try and get a file in there and clean them up. I know the lighting's bad. There's a lot of shadows on everything, so hopefully you guys can see. Pro tip, when you're sanding points, I use women's fingernail emery boards. They work way better than sandpaper, and they're nice and fine grit, and they're rigid, so you can stick them in there and rub them around and clean them up good. Make sure your ignition's off when you're doing this. Okay, let's put our cap back on and see what we got. Let's clean this rotor up too. That could also be a problem.
Reset the points.
Reset the points, sanding them again. Try it now.
Points a little too big. little bit too big.
Well, it cleared up and ran good there for a second. Okay, hopefully we can get it running good enough to get it off here. Okay, strap the propane tank down and there's no brakes, so hopefully I don't die. I think it might be flooding out.
Is that an automatic?
Yeah, just like yours. Yeah, we've got to tighten it big and make the points bigger. Propane off and find out if it's flooding. Take 3. Forks didn't bleed down that far either.
I don't know that they bled at all. I'd leave that rev up for a while till it gets.
I didn't see it throwing the whole truck forward.
Spinning the tire over here.
Oh, damn it. If I could ease out, it would be alright. I might be able to ease out. Yep, gonna have to take the cage off. Just like 2 inches too high. There we go. Do that to your side.
Yeah, that one up.
Go.
Freaking tall enough.
Just here, just flip it backwards.
Let's get these off these pins.
Mine's off. That's off. Not bad for 200 bucks. Well, guys, what you think about that? I'm real happy with it for what I've got invested. 200 bucks is that's hardly anything for a good working forklift. So this one's got a little road ahead of it before I can say it's a good working forklift, but I think we definitely got something solid to work with here. The next video I'm going to be going over doing the repairs on it, getting it up to working condition. It's funny though, this thing actually sat on Marketplace for, I bet you, 3 or 4 months. I was seeing it, and I liked it then, and it was listed for about $800, and I messaged the guy about 2 or 3 times, and I really couldn't get him to ever answer me. And then all of a sudden it reappeared for $200. I messaged him, and he answered me right away. So I guess that's my luck and his loss. So if you guys like the video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. It really helps me and the channel out a lot. It doesn't cost you a dime. And drop me a comment down below. Tell me what you think, and I'll catch you guys next week. Thanks for watching.